Dayton's Christmas killer, Marvelous Keene, is eating his last meal. Keene's three-day murder spree in 1992 left 5 people dead. Relatives of his victims say he's never showed any remorse for the killings.
Back in 1992, the residents of Dayton, Ohio were terrorized over the Christmas holiday by a band of brutal killers. 6 innocent people were murdered and 2 others injured between December 24th and December 26th. The killers called themselves the Downtown Posse, and they were responsible for the worst killing spree in Dayton's history. The oldest member of this 4-person posse was just 20. The others were still in their teens. Their holiday slaughter became known as the Christmas killings. 19-year-old Marvelous Keene, his 16-year-old girlfriend Laura Taylor, 20-year-old Heather Matthews, and her boyfriend, 19-year-old DeMarcus Smith, made up the Downtown Posse, and on Christmas Eve 1992, they were out for blood. Marvelous was kind of known to be the de facto leader of this gang, but it's never been made clear why the group embarked on this bloody crime spree that Christmas. The first victim the posse took down was Joseph Wilkerson. According to local Dayton news outlet WHIO7, Laura and Heather had promised 34-year-old man sex in order to gain entry to his home. Now, remember, Heather was an adult, but Laura at 16 was underage, making this whole situation suspect right off the bat. And Wilkerson got a lot more than he bargained for. Instead of a night of sexual escapades, he was promptly shot and killed. His house then essentially became the Downtown Posse's home base during their killing spree. The group partied in the home for days alongside Wilkerson's dead body, which they never disposed of. Local outlets reported at the time that the group made themselves right at home, eating the food out of his fridge and even taking Wilkerson's car on joyrides. Now, his body wouldn't be discovered until the 26th, so police didn't know there was a killer, or in this case killers, on their hands until the next victim, who was discovered in a phone booth on Christmas Eve. Danita Gillette, a mother of a 2-year-old baby girl, was 18 years old when the posse happened upon her while she was making a phone call. The teen was working on Christmas Eve, but she was expected home by dinner to have a holiday meal with her family. But Danita never made it home from work. The Downtown Posse approached her in that phone booth. They shot her multiple times and they left her for dead. Police said the killers stole her bag, shoes, and jacket before fleeing the scene. Now, the terror continued into Christmas Day, and now the posse targeted someone they knew. Richmond Maddox, who was 19 at the time, went for a drive with his ex-girlfriend on December 25th. His ex happened to be Laura Taylor. Now, Maddox was discovered dead behind the wheel of his car with a gunshot wound to the head. 28-year-old Jeffrey Wright was shot next. He was hit 4 times, but managed to survive the shooting. And on the 26th, the group robbed a local mini mart. But it wasn't enough to just steal from the short-stop mini market. The posse also shot the clerk and a customer who just happened to be shopping at the time. Now, neither of these victims died at the scene. The customer, Jones Pettis, managed to survive the attack, but the clerk, Sarah Abraham, wasn't so lucky. She succumbed to her injuries a few days later. According to homicide detective Doyle Burke, who actually worked on this case, Dayton PD didn't know that these killings were connected at the time. They were all seemingly random and didn't necessarily follow a pattern. Detective Burke said that it wasn't until the bullets in each shooting were examined that police discovered the same firearm was used in each incident. Now, in addition to the shootings, the group also carjacked a vehicle. Now, this driver wasn't killed, and they reported the crime to authorities. Now, this gave police their first big lead, though they didn't realize it. The day after Christmas, a police officer spotted this carjacked car on the road and pulled the driver over. Now, the officer had no idea that the people in the vehicle were the group responsible for the shooting rampage that was plaguing the city that holiday. According to reports by the Mirror, the car that the 4 had abandoned when they carjacked that other man was found near the spot they were pulled over. That abandoned car led police to James Wilkerson, the very first victim, and all the pieces fell into place. Shortly after the Downtown Posse was arrested, a local minister visited Laura Taylor in jail. She confessed to the religious leader that there were 2 additional victims out there. And based on the information that she gave, police discovered the bodies of Wendy Cottrell and Marvin Washington on December 27th. Now, the teens, 16 and 18 years old, had been shot at a gravel pit and just left there. The group was ultimately convicted for the multiple murders that terrorized Dayton that holiday season. Laura Taylor, Heather Matthews, and DeMarcus Smith were all sentenced to life in prison for their role. 2 women are actually serving their time at the same Ohio penitentiary. Marvelous Keene was the ringleader of the group, so for his role in the crimes, he received the harshest punishment, a death sentence. Now, for years, Keene tried appeal after appeal after appeal in order to win back his life. However, after 17 failed attempts, he was executed in 2009 for his role in the Christmas killings. For more true crime content like this, hit like and subscribe.